You're such an asshole.
I keep adding things. There's a grand. There we go. All right. It's limitless. You want to know how a guy wants to know how I'd raise my son? I'd be the same way I'd raise my daughter, with lots of loving hatred and rage. It'd be loving rage, loving anger. I will turn them into the strongest of swords, putting them through the hottest of fires. Lyrical Cappy, thanks for the song lyric interpretation. Sorry, didn't generate copious amounts of views for you. Father Cappy, if you had a son, what wisdom would you pass on to him? Can you do a video response of a list of advice every American father should tell their son, say over the age of 10 years old? Yeah, I've already compiled a list of it. I think it's a 12-hour course. It's called The Dad You Never Had. I have it linked below. I don't know where the outline is, but then again, I wouldn't want to give away the entire thing. But even if I did go through the outline, the devil is in the details. So I said, okay, let me sit down and think about it. And so aside from the 5 rules and kind of everything you guys know me for, personal financial responsibility, blah, 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 the 5 rules: don't have kids you can't afford, don't major in stupid shit, don't commit crime, spend less than you make, and don't get married. For my daughter, I'm not going to do everything for my daughter. I would change, like, well, you can get married, but it better be a good guy. And you're not doing any of this I'm not happy bullshit. So why don't you just avoid the marriage anyway? Man, if she brought back Harry Sison, where'd Harry go? I don't know. He just left. He was limping when he left, though, and crying. Where have I failed you as a father? Anyway, all right. So there's the 5. There's also, I mean, isn't this kind of all my internet stuff? Everything you kind of know? All the books, financial advice. It's all advice I was given to my younger self or younger people. Like, look, do this so you don't have this shitty life like I did. Or it'd be a lot easier. So these are the main ones that came to mind. Why can't I read that? Oh, because that's a different list. Okay, the list starts here. I'm like, check bar. What the hell is that? All right, first thing, you're going to get a real skill or a trade. I don't care if it's accounting, engineering, doctor, dentist, truck driver, whatever. You're going to get a real skill and a real trade. More modernly, I would lean towards blue-collar stuff, the actual trades, but we are not wasting our time. You don't get to be Becky from Edina and major in bullshit. I want you out of the house so I can get back to banging your mother once you turn 18. I would also teach them the value of a dollar. And the reason why I teach them a value of a dollar is not just for personal financial management, but it also teaches them the value of their time. And coincidentally, I think is the quickest way for you to respect and value others. Because if you got to go and buy your own food and earn on money to pay for your own rent, you then respect other people who have to work. I mean, you look at the fat pigs who collect EBT and bitch and whine that, they're fat and they're bitching that the EBT is going to get cut off. They don't give a shit how much of other people's money they enslave. They really don't care because they're unaware of it because they've never had to work for it. So having someone, oh, you want to buy that video game? Well, you better go shovel some driveways. So then you respect not only the value of your time and budget and all that other stuff, but then you realize, oh, well, if I'm not going to waste other people's time. They got to pay for food, clothing, and shelter. They got to pay for their own video games. Why would I waste that person's time? It would lead to punctuality, not being tardy, professionalism, respect for other people's lives, which apparently all those of you on welfare don't care about because you're okay living like a parasite because you're not humans. I would insist that they become the best and truest version, the most honest person they can, and it's not for morality. It's so you know when you're right and society is lying to you. I want my son or daughter to go through the same experience I did when I went to that jazz club and got shot down by 31 women for a dance. Right? I knew I was right. I was the best. I mean, I always try to be the best I can at any moment in time. But back then, whatever, 30, I was a senior analyst as a commercial underwriter. I owned rental property. I had no debt aside from my mortgage. I was an accomplished ballroom dancer and ballroom dance instructor. I was teaching finance classes, and I was in my fucking suit after not only a day at the office, but 3 hours of teaching dance classes. 31 women shot me down. I know why. Well, once one saw you get shot down, then they all said to shot down. That's fine, but I was right. And yes, all 31 women were wrong. You were all wrong. And the reason I know that is it doesn't get, the only thing you could have complained about is I wasn't tall enough. That's it. And so when someone, your son or daughter, or even you yourself, doesn't matter, when someone becomes the absolute best that they can be and they're honest with themselves, you say, well, it ain't me that's the problem, right? It's like from Free Jack Love, you don't remember, it's a long ago movie. Was it Rolling Stones guy? There's a truth-telling machine that's in the future. And he calls in his lieutenant and says, put your hand on the truth-telling machine. And the lieutenant's like, you got to be kidding me. So he puts his hand on it, and he tests him with some lying. And he says, I have always been loyal to you. And frankly, I'm insulted that you're even daring question my integrity and my honor and loyalty to you. And Mick Jagger looks at him and says, I'm not testing you. I'm testing the machine, because he knew that he could trust his. But that's what it is. You need to know for a fact that you are the best and you are not at fault, because society loves blaming the individuals for their fucked up problems and for them being wrong. But it requires you be the best that you can. It also requires you be true and empirical. Are you fat? Right? Now, maybe our team, we don't have to, I know people on my team, if you're fat, yeah, I'm fat, I should lose weight. We've had guys like that. But we're the exception. How many other girls are big is beautiful, blah, blah, blah. I'm strong and I deserve this. And they're like, no. You were late, you were fat, you're entitled, you're annoying, you're not pleasant to be around. You need to make sure you are the absolute best you can be and you're honest about yourself. And that way, you'll be able to identify the common and increasing frequency of times society tries to lie to you. I would insist that my son and daughter learn carpentry and cars, maybe computers too, but I would say, nope, you're going to learn to fix your own thing, maybe even build your own house and fix your own cars. I would teach them the importance of finiteness. Now, if they want to go and believe they're immortal and go believe in a religion and they legitimately believe so, that's fine. But while you're here on this earth, you are finite. That means the number one thing in your life is your time, which means the number one thing you should be aiming for is your freedom, not fucking money. Money is a tool to create freedom. By the way, you all might want to take my minimalism course, which is open for enrollment for the next 24 hours. Achieving Minimalism Theory and Practice. Fuck it, you need your $800 a month car payment because it's a cool car. But I would teach them that because they are finite, the most important thing you can aim for in life is freedom, because it allows you then to pursue other law. A lot of people say love and family. Fine, true, okay, but you can't pursue that unless you're free. And so that's where I would say that's your primary Maslow goal, is to get free. I would also teach them that people may offer to be the greatest source of joy through friendships, love, romance, sex, lust, whatever else have you. But they are more often than not the greatest source of problems and suffering, because you invested emotionally in them. I'm not saying don't invest emotionally in people who haven't earned it, but know that at any moment in time, it can end. And for some weak ass fucking shit. I mean, there are people I'm like, you gotta be joking me. You're pissed off about this, huh? Okay. All right. And so that one, it was a while ago, but the last time I suffered that was a while ago. But that one stung. And so, yep, people are great. They're great to have around. You keep them at arm's length and you expect fucking nothing out of them. Unless they're like absolutely ride or die, or you got you know, but just know that they could go away at any time. And this is again very important. Are you the best version of yourself you could possibly be? Because then you know it's them and not you. I will for boys, the number one thing to get the girls, go to the gym and ask out a lot of girls. That's it. Get over your confidence or get over your fear of rejection and go lift heavy objects. I don't know if this is something I teach them, but I would insist through skills and trades that they would be making $50 an hour by the age of 17. I would be homeschooling my child. There will be no going to the schools where you Democrat girl teachers can go ahead and have sex with my son. I know, it's so sad. There's one that got away. And you can't cut his junk off or convince him that he's gay. No. I mean, if he ends up being gay, sure, I'd support him, but he's not going to do it because it's popular. Popular. I'm popular. But with my child, both, daughter, wouldn't matter. Any of my kids, 17, they're making $50 an hour under my command. And likely self-employed, which would be the next one, the value of entrepreneurship, which would be related to freedom. I'm like, yeah, you can, you might have the personality of being W-2 and da-da-da. But your old man's going to teach you entrepreneurship and accounting and some basic bookkeeping and all that. I'm going to show you how to do budgeting and see how much easier it is to just go out and do it on your own instead of going to college, interview with a bunch of HR bitches and then deal with some MBA dude, bro, who's going to hire his frat boy anyway. Oh, and then the company goes bankrupt anyway because they're corrupt. Yeah, we ain't doing that. I would teach them the importance of defense, not like in terms of physical defense, although I would teach my children how to fight, but playing defense, because as society becomes more and more inept and corrupt and stupid and scumbaggy, they're going to try and screw them over more. So I'd be like, you might want to look at things like insurance, crypto, precious metals, defensive things you can do. Inflation hedged skills, just everything and anything where it's like, go invest, like do an offensive investment, like for capital gains and growth and things like that. Sure. Go ahead and invest in whatever, the stock market, whatever you want. But make sure you're defended. Make sure you got defense, estate planning, trusts. You will not have anything to do with Democrats and or people who believe in parasitic economic, ideological, philosophical philosophies. You have nothing to do with them. And if you vote for them, well, then you're going to go live on the government. You're out of my house immediately. You will be a self-support. You will actually be a strong, independent woman. You will not be a parasite on others. And going out into the future, have nothing to do with Democrats or people who believe in a parasitic ideology where they're entitled. Avoid victims. Avoid people who are always whining and complaining. Find responsible people like, I got to fix this problem, even though it may not be my fault. So you're not going to business. You're not dating. I mean, you can date, you're not marrying a Democrat. I can't stop you, but good luck. Some of it would be, I'd be a very libertarian file. Like, here's the rules. I recommend you follow them. You don't have to, but let me know how that goes. But yeah, just I would warn, it's not necessarily the Democrat Party. It's parasitic people. People who think they're entitled to your shit or that other people should be taking care of them or they're entitled to free crap. No, you avoid those people and you sure the fuck don't become one. If we're talking boys, I definitely would teach them about vasectomies. Whether or not they want to have kids is up to them. We'd have a sit down on this one. I would also, how many things would I teach them about women? Well, here's my YouTube channel and here's some books. But one thing I would make sure is that the hotter the girl is, the statistically likely, though not guaranteed, the more mentally ill and problematic she is. It's not a correlation. And it kind of associated with that. Yeah, if they show up late, there's any other bullshit, leave. Yep, just leave. I don't care how hot she is, leave. It's dangerous, or at least a waste of your time. I would teach them autodidactism. I'm like, hey, we can start at the age of 5 and you can waste 2 hours a day on the bus and you can go the speed of the slowest kid at school because the broken family home didn't raise their kid right. We can go the speed of the weakest link in the chain of K through 12. Or we can have you stay at home. I'm going to teach you how to teach yourself. You can learn anything you want quicker and faster than what those slow, dumb fucks in the school system are going to allow you to go. And I do mean the teachers and the students. No. I don't know what your IQ or your capacity is, but it's faster than that fucking shit. 5 years old, I'm sorry, 5th grade, we're collecting cans and shoveling driveways. We're doing long division, we're doing budgeting, we're doing taxes. 17, you're fixing cars, you know how to run a landscaping company. We're going to have you, and probably 16, 17, if you decide to go the academic route, and it's not an engineering degree, like it's something that can be done online, you get yourself a bachelor's in accounting. You get yourself a bachelor's in MIS. I'll take you to the physical college if you want to get your degree in engineering. But we ain't doing no, I'm 22 and I get my college degree now. Value of no debt. I teach them to hide the power level. Never flash any money. Never brag. Don't let girls or anybody else know how well you're doing. Play it down low. Like I even long ago, I'd say like if I was super wealthy, like if I was a doctor or whatever, I would wear overalls like I'm a mechanic. And then I'd go, well, Dad's going to be a mechanic school. And we'd live in a blue collar house. And my children would have bunk beds. I don't know if it's in the budget. And I just squirrel money away as a surgeon. And then there's be this big multi-million-dollar trust fund for each of my kids. And I'd wait till they're 35 and I wouldn't pay for college. I'd see how they would fucking do. And if they were surprised and made it, like, and they know the value of a dollar and value other people's time and I'm like, oh, by the way, I was lying to you this entire time. I was a surgeon. Mom and I just made you believe that I was a mechanic. And here's your $10 million. You're set for life, but now I know you know how to deal with that. But Dad, I'm a minimalist like you, and I don't know what I do with $10 million. Oh, we'll give it back if you don't want. No, you don't want the 10 million. I can go do something with it. I'll figure something out. Move south. There's no reason. Never live in Minnesota. Let's add that one as a start. Never live in the upper Midwest. No Michigan, no Wisconsin, no Minnesota. None of that shit. Not the politics, not the cold, not the people. Fuck that self-loathing, guilty white shit. Abso-fucking-lutely not. Where it's warm, no taxes, wherever you want. I don't care if you're a flatlander, you like Florida, you kind of like hot and wide open country, Texas, or you like canyons in the Southwest, or you like the mountains of Montana. Do not live where it's super cold, unless you're one of them weirdos that likes winter sports. But do not go south, go where there's no taxes. Stoicism, I teach them very early to understand and identify when they should and should not, or if they can and cannot worry about things, and if they should and should not worry about things. I would teach them very early to identify, sounds like a you problem, sounds like a them problem. That's not my problem. And then stoicism, autodidactism, teach them how to fight. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all. Obviously, it'd be for both boys and girls. The girls I raised a little different, because it's different. I'd have to like look out for the boys. Man, I'd be wrestling with my libertarian beliefs. Well, you can do what you want, but then there's that fight. Like, you come near my daughter, I'll break your fucking legs. Dad, when can I date? When you're 37, and I get to meet him with a pistol. All right. But yeah, link below. It's a course I had to put together because a lot of people don't have their dads. That's why they come to me to handle kind of the financing stuff and maybe some dating stuff. But that's largely look, if you dads weren't a bunch of Minnesota dads, I wouldn't be here. I'd be a banker or an economist or a nuclear engineer or something. I would have had a regular job, but you didn't raise your kids right. Married the wrong gal. Ladies, you broke up with her. You just had kids out of wedlock. You didn't raise your kids because, oh my God, raise my kids. What am I? What are we, June Award Cleaver? Why is a kid got Ritalin and cutting its junk off? Well, reason for Thank you. Thank you for not raising your kids. And it's so common and ubiquitous that I came up with a course called The Dad You Never Had. So for those of you that you didn't have a father and you don't know what to do, there's no roadmap to life because once again, you didn't have it. Even if your dad was there, if he was one of these thumb sucking Minnesota dads, well, do whatever your mother says. Oh, follow your heart, money will follow. Or you just weren't around. I didn't give you, like, really, did any of you have dads that sat you the fuck down and said, we're going to do it this way? Hey, what are you doing this summer? You know what? Starting a landscaping company. Hey, we're gonna figure out how to replace this alternator. Let's go. No, I sat there fucking reading their paper. That's what every boomer did. They read the paper. Well, you kids got to get off that cell phone. Or is that why you read the paper all the time? Thank God you tuned in to 60 Minutes. I don't know what 60 Minutes or Time Magazine. What would you do without them? So The Dad You Never Had. It's available. It's for both boys and girls, men and women. Go to the super chats. We got 2. Preston Meyer, $10. Hey, Aaron, my goal as a pre-med student is to get into a very competitive school. Okay. I want to specialize in metabolic psychiatry. Would you recommend private student loans? Dude, no. Look. This is what I'm talking. This is why it doesn't matter what school you go to. It only matters what your degree is in and that you're at an accredited school. Okay, Preston, you do not look, you're already going to have a ton of student loan debt going into med school. All right. You just need to get into an accredited medical school program where you could specialize in metabolic psychology. If that's Stanford and they're giving you scholarships, that's fine. John Hopkins, that's fine. At the end of the day, you're an MD with a specialization in metabolic psychiatry, and then you can practice that. You just need the stamp. And dude, as time is going on, these Ivy League or highly ranked schools are becoming rapidly irrelevant. It really is only is it accredited and what type of degree do you got? You're becoming a doctor. You go to the University of Iowa if they got that specialization. Fine. There's your specialty. There's your practice. And what's going to determine whether you are successful is going to be you. Now, seriously, you take it. Not what fucking school you went to. And I don't know how you finance med school. I don't. I would try to avoid private student loans. Try to avoid as much debt as you can. But maybe you have to take it. But here, I'll tell you this. I do know this as a banker, having had doctors and dentists come in. You guys bust your asses off, right? Long journey, long road to become a doctor. And okay, they come in with $350,000 in student loan debt. And stupid me, young 30, young 20-something guy. Well, you take all, now you make whatever, your $200,000 a year, and you pay that off right quick. Nope. Doctors are great at doctoring, but you guys are not you. I'm preventing you from this. Doctors are shit with their finances. Then they go get the fucking mansion and the Lamborghini and all this shit because they're like, finally, now I made the money. And then they get screwed over by some wife that finds out they're a doctor. There's a whole course out there for financial management for doctors and other advanced professionals. Because you guys are like, I didn't get my dick wet the entire time. No, I'm going to get the car. I'm going to party it. No, pay off your student loans. Will you do that for me? Right? You need to get a 1-bedroom apartment. That's it. Live near the hospital. Walk to work, right? You make good money. Okay. Even fresh out of med school. Get an apartment cheap and near the hospital that you can walk. Right? And then you save your time. Do your job, make some money, pay off your student loans, and then after that, maybe, I'm not saying go ape shit. Maybe treat yourself some a little bit. Maybe you always wanted this nice little sports car. Get the nice little spot. Don't get a fucking Bentley. Don't get a Lamborghini. No, you don't know big fancy fucking house. Because What did I say? Hide your power level. If women know you're a doctor, you're already at a disadvantage. That's why I'd say you just say, oh, you're like an orderly or you're an assistant nurse, right? You just hide your doctorate degree. You just keep that away. And then you put the stethoscope on when you get into the hospital. Can I visit you at work? No, I'm busy. Yep, just wiping people's asses. That's all I do. Who? Jacob Dornbush, $5, listening to Bachelor Pad Economics while doing recon in Washington State. Oh, good. Washington State's very nice. Check out Leavenworth, Yakima. You don't want to be basically any part that isn't Seattle. Washington's a very beautiful state. And if you could get on that eastern side of the Cascades, you might see the sun. Glad you're no longer on track to die in White Bear Lake. Great book. Yep. I'm never going back to Minnesota. I mean, just here's another one. Don't live in leftist shitholes. Like if you got to pay for parking, probably not a place you want to live. All right, there you go. The Dad You Never Had, link below. We got, Bachelor, if you want finance advice, just pure finance advice, you can get this book, Bachelor Pad Economics. It's a thick book, but you don't read it through. You consult it topically. And then I guess the only other one I would say is this the one? This might be a good one philosophically. Zero World Problems teaches you to focus on things that actually increase your standard of living that isn't money related. So I'd focus. That's another one you get, but those aren't linked below. All right, see you guys later. Toodles.